Good morning and welcome to the morning show with Angel and Tina and our fabulous guests in our virtual studio. Good morning, Tina. How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. How was your weekend? Did you unplug?
Um, I unplugged Angel style, so I'll have to describe
Just your phone?
what that means. I did unplug from my office, from the computer, from emails. But I'll describe what unplugging actually means
Can you believe today is the last day of August? Tomorrow, September 1st.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
So crazy.
It is crazy. Well, welcome to our guests, Gini and Kimberly. Gini, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Me and Kimberly are even more virtual than normal. I'm in the Texas Hill Country in a beautiful little cabin on a creek. In Kimberly, tell everybody where you're coming from.
I'm actually full-time travel. I'm going virtually everywhere is my new thing. And I'm actually in the Venetian in Las Vegas right now. So what fun.
That is fun. I think I've gone more virtual, but less, right? I haven't traveled anywhere. I haven't gone anywhere since
Well, you could say
March.
that you kind of went virtual. You're just going virtual backgrounds. So now you're in the Colorado Rocky, you can say that you can just have different backgrounds.
Yeah. So I did leave the house last week. I went and volunteered at a charity golf tournament on Monday morning. This is the Arrowhead Golf Course. I took this picture on Monday, and Tina thought it looked fake with our flat iron rocks that are shooting out of the.
Like, that's not real. She's like, yes, it is. I just took it with my phone. I went, what? So not only is it real, she took it with her phone.
I did it just last Monday. Ginny, you've seen these, right? Because you come to Colorado. So you've seen how beautiful these rocks formations are. I was telling her they are real.
Okay, they are totally real.
So yeah, so it is Monday morning. I've been making a point for the last, was it 4 or 5 weekends now, to turn my computer off on Friday afternoon at 6 o'clock.
Clean up your desk and
take the weekend off and not get back on until Monday morning. And so yes, I did do that. But the way that I relaxed this weekend was we are getting ready to have our upper level where the bedrooms and bathrooms painted. So I was like cleaning and moving furniture out, selling furniture on this little
Are you still selling furniture on Marketplace?
I was.
She's selling everything. She's like, look, I sold this and I sold this and I sold this.
I totally did. It's going to pay for the whole painting project, right? With everything that we sold over the weekend. So my downtime was going up and down, three staircases all weekend long and
do your legs
stuff. I think I kind of hurt like my hip flexor. I had to stop yesterday because my hip flexor was sore going up and down the stairs. So
but you're not used to going up and down the stairs. You're used to riding your bike.
I'm used to just sitting in this chair, mostly just sitting in this chair. So Ginny, what does your weekends look like now that you are virtual more than usual?
Well, it's actually been interesting. So as you guys know, I have a background in travel. So our company, what we do is we help people unite their tribe with travel and both virtual and in-person retreats. And we're starting to travel now. We actually have quite a few of our trips that are now wanting to travel. So a lot of my weekends have actually been consumed with traveling with those groups. We took 180 people to Puerto Vallarta 2 weekends ago. And then from all of September,
my jaw is dropping. I'm like,
I know.
How in a bunch of people came with you and you traveled I'm just like shock, jaws dropping.
Yep. So a lot of our folks do so because we specialize in what we call tribe travel, right? Tribe travel is a little different for people because it's traveling with a group of people that you're very, close with and that and that you have traveled with for. I just actually wrote an article on this. Is
that your own phrase, tribe travel?
Tribe travel, yeah.
Before.
Tribe travel.
So traveling with your tribe.
You gotta say it a little slow.
Tribe travel.
Tribe.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So with tribe travel, it's a little different because this is a group of people that trust one another. They travel together at least once or twice a year, most of our groups. Most of these groups are annual groups that have been getting together every single year for years and years on end. And so because of that, there is like a trust factor, right? That happens. Of course, we are like totally giving anybody who wants to cancel full refunds, like people can have their money back. Like we're not pressuring anyone to travel. But for this trip to Puerto Vallarta, for example, we originally had like 220 people traveling. We said, hey guys, you know, because of COVID, if you'd like to cancel, you can. But if you would like to, you know, keep the trip, you also can choose to do that. And 180 out of 220 people chose to continue to travel. Things are a little different, right? When you go, first of all, I have to say, Mexico is, in my opinion, way more sanitary than most places I've been in the United States in terms of COVID measures. There was hand sanitizer literally everywhere that I went. Like the airport was plastered in hand sanitizer. The hotel was plastered in hand sanitizer. They make you, in Mexico, they do an interesting thing where they sanitize your feet before you walk into like your shoes. So you have to like walk through this, you know, yeah. So you have to walk through this like sanitizer on your shoes before you can get inside the hotel. They take your temperature outside the hotel, and then they also have these heat monitors inside the hotel so that every time you walk past them, it monitors your temperature. And, yeah, and the hotels have like partitions at the front desk.
You have a little fever and it goes beep, 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 beep.
And then you have to leave, I guess. Like
these alarms start going off.
Yeah. So, and people, of course, you still have to wear masks. I mean, everybody is wearing masks in the hotel. They're wearing them, you know, in any common areas. Restaurants at the hotels are limited to 25% capacity. So, you have to wear masks. They are very strict actually in Mexico about the mask policy, you know, everywhere unless you're sitting at your table or on the beach in your own area, right? Everything is socially distanced in terms of like the beach chairs and things. You don't have to wear your mask in the pool, but you do have to wear it like to get out and go to the bar or anything like that. So all the pool bars are closed, all the smoke bars are closed. But yeah, those are just a few of the things that we've seen. But yeah, so on September 10th, we have another 120 people going to Playa del Carmen for a leadership retreat. We then have a huge incentive trip back to Puerto Vallarta, which has 500 people on it. We also have 2 trips back to back to New Orleans. We have a motorcycle trip, which is, of course, like very socially distanced. That's probably, the motorcycle trip is probably like the most socially distanced because everyone's wearing their helmets and you know what I mean? And we're staying anyway. But yeah, so but it's interesting. So I think because I specialize in tribe travel, we are seeing a lot of our folks still wanting to travel together. But again, it comes down to that trust factor, right? These are people that know each other very well. I know it sounds crazy to say that 500 people know each other very well, but this is like our 7th year doing this trip. So literally these 500 people, they have little pods within the 500, but I mean, they do this trip every year and they didn't want to give it up.
Wow. I didn't even think you could. Like, I think that I've seen so many people.
I told that somebody went to Paris and she's like, wait, they're allowed to go to Paris? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's a risk factor, right? There's the chance that they'll shut down the US border and they won't let you, they won't let you back in.
How was it coming back in, Gini?
I'm telling you guys, Mexico is way better at this than we are. Coming back in, I mean, there was nothing. Like coming into Mexico, they took our temperature twice.
Like coming back from Mexico into the United States.
It was just like normal.
Oh.
There was nothing at all different. It was completely normal.
They didn't tell you that you had a quarantine or anything?
Nope. Now, that is dependent on where you live. So your state may tell you that, your city may tell you that, your work may tell you that. So we tell people to check with your local, check with your work, first of all, because if they're going to have a problem.
My nail place won't let me go in if I've been on an airplane in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I thought
it may be right. So having traveled, other places may want to restrict you. But yeah, in Texas, now I live in Texas, which is, probably maybe a little more liberal than some other states in terms of what they're doing. But yeah, there was nothing, I mean, no restrictions, no nothing.
Now, I had a friend who had gone to New Orleans. This was, early on in the shutdown. And he lives in Houston, and he had to self quarantine when he came back
Yes.
from New
North
Orleans. And they
Carolina
are pretty strict about that. They come and check on you, these little
has,
spontaneous, random, if
yeah,
you're supposed to be self
North
quarantined.
Carolina has to too. If you leave anywhere, because North Carolina is a hot spot.
Is it?
I don't want to leave anywhere, but you have to self quarantine yourself.
So Kimberly, you're traveling a lot now. You've decided you're gonna go. Okay, you've got a name for it. You've got a thing that you're doing.
Virtual.
That's right. I do full-time travel right now. I have, I'm working on, I actually have a site called Going Virtually Everywhere. I know a lot of entrepreneurs say they want to travel full-time before COVID, and that they want to be able to work from anywhere and, have sort of time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. But not very many entrepreneurs actually do the travel. They just want the freedom to be able to. And so I had a few friends who were pretty much virtually like full-time travel. And I thought, this is a great opportunity to do this, right? And I had planned to do it when my youngest went off to college at U of A. He actually just launched. So I thought, okay, this is a great time to do it. And I was planning around that. Lo and behold, COVID hit. And I was like, you know what? This is actually a really great opportunity to show people that we don't have to, even though we need to observe careful things because of COVID, and we need to wear masks, and we need to be sure that we're washing hands a lot and be sure that we're taking precautions. Having people really, really get stuck at home when it is only fear-based is something that would be a challenge, right? Let's break through that challenge. Now, if there's reason behind it, like they need to because they have an immune disorder, or they have, like, I actually have a friend with one lung. I have another friend who has parents that they care for, elderly parents, and they don't want to risk it. And then, of course, my parents are elderly as well. It wouldn't make sense for certain groups of people, but for other healthy groups of people who are taking natural precautions and making sure that they're taking care of themselves, this is a really great opportunity to sort of bust that myth that we have to only stay home. And that's not what quarantine is about. Quarantine is just like, let's make sure that we're not being silly and spreading the virus around. As a matter of fact, in my hometown, which I don't really live in, but now I hail from, which is San Diego, California, they just had I think they called it a cautious reopening or something like that, where they're opening nail salons and hair salons, and they can do that inside. They had the nail salons operating outside up until today. Today is the first day that they're actually letting hair salons and nail salons operate under certain restrictions back under normal conditions. So I think now.
Did you sell your house and sell all your stuff and
Yeah.
are now just traveling?
Yep, that was, but that was of plan, right? That was part of the plan. So yes, on 8/20/2020, I left my house that I'd lived in for 20 years and drove out of the driveway.
At 8/20/2020, you left your house that you lived in for 20 years.
Yep. And took my son to school. And then from there I went, so we lived in San Diego. From there, we dropped him off at University of Arizona in Tucson, Arizona. From there, I actually got on a plane and began traveling full time. So yeah.
Wow.
Did you
Kimberly,
sell all your stuff too? Did you put everything in storage?
Great question. So you guys were talking about some of the wonderful things that Angel is doing with it. We used OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace, two really, really great resources to get rid of pretty much everything. I'll tell you of an epiphany that I had during one of those exchanges. But another really good one is called ThreadUp for us ladies who have a million shoes, or actually I was never really a shoe person, but if you've got a lot of shoes and you've got a lot of clothes and you cannot take them, I mean, if you look behind me, that's what I have now. So I have 2 suitcases and a laptop bag, and that's what I carry with me full time. I do have 2 cheats, which I'll talk about. But the clothes actually, my daughter found, my daughter is an environmental scientist, and she's here to save the world. So she's not a big fan of getting, consumerism. So she said, why don't you try Thread Up? That's THRED, Thread Up. And I don't have an affiliate link or endorse it or anything. I should, but I don't. But they seem to be really great. And basically, you put a label on a box and then drop it at the UPS store. They pay to ship it to themselves, and then, or not UPS, USPS, right? Or mailboxes, etc. And then they take the clothes and they sell them online, and you get 40% of any sales that they make. And if they don't sell them, they donate them to a women's shelter, which I love the principle behind that, right? So I've always been a big fan of donating your clothes, but reuse, recycle, reuse. What's the 3 R's, whatever they are. My daughter will kill me for not knowing those 3 R's, but
Reduce,
basically
reuse, and recycle.
Reduce is the other one, right? So I've reduced a whole lot, but reuse is the principle behind Thread Up, right? Put it back into the world and have somebody else use it. And then recycle, same thing. Like if you're buying new stuff, don't buy new, buy somebody else's stuff that they don't love anymore. So great ideas. And yeah, I do have 2 cheats. I'll get a little bit into that. The 2 cheats are, my mom's house is 3 hours north of San Diego. So I took some of my children's two boxes, like banker's boxes of my children's like projects that they did when they were little, and things like
stuff.
Photo albums and things like that. And I took those to my mom's house. And then I didn't get rid of all of my clothes. I have some trade out clothes in a closet at her house.
And then you have a couple seasonal boxes over there, and then you can kind of swap out.
Oh, I mean, when was I really going to get my wetsuit in those 2 bags? Probably not. Right. So my wetsuit, my ski gear, probably not. Right. So not actually just clothes, not even ski gear. I got rid of all the gear. But that kind of thing, when you live in San Diego, you have a lot of toys, but we had to get rid of most of the toys, but some of the outfits and things like that.
What part of San Diego did you live in?
I used to live in an area that was a little inland called Rancho Bernardo, but it's directly across from Del Mar, if you know where Del Mar is.
Yeah, I grew up in La Jolla area.
There you go. All right. So a little bit inland, but right across the 56 there. So we enjoyed that. My second cheat is actually that I still have my office. Now I did give my 30 days notice, so I only have it until the 24th, but I have an office space, a 10 by 10, where I did all my recordings, where I did all my live shows and everything like that. But that is also going on the 24th. So I'll have to figure out what to do.
Yeah, it just feels so good to like purge and get rid of, right?
Totally agree, Angel. Totally agree.
And when we're donating it, giving it to families, I mean, there are things, I mean, it's like, I don't want to just throw it away.
Right.
Somebody else can reuse it. And our whole, I've just kind of got the bug.
Like last weekend, you had the 2 college girls who came over, and that was like their start. They bought her couch, and it was like, she's like, they were so excited and giddy that, they bought this couch.
Yeah, they were so cute. I wasn't sure that people would want to take stuff, of course, during this time, but it doesn't seem to be stopping. It doesn't seem to be slowing down. Kimberly, I did 2 years of full-time travel as a speaker, but we kept our house, and it was just nice to have a home base to come back to, and just a place that was familiar, and kind of a home base. But there were times where I think my biggest one was seven cities in one trip, where we just kind of kept going, from city to city, because it didn't make sense to come back in between. But it can absolutely be done. And it's pretty exciting to know that you can be that untethered, with your day and your stuff and your geography and your location and all of that. And so both of you, I mean, I seriously have turned into a mole. I think the opposite of you. Both of you have like gone out more. I pretty much like put the brakes on it. It was like,
yeah, we both did the same thing. We're like staying home, not even leaving the house. Jenny bought what did you buy? You bought an RV, right? And you guys are like,
I've had the RV, but I did spend I spent 6 weeks in Colorado. But yeah, we do. I mean, this actually is less travel for us. On average, my husband and I travel roughly between 35 and 45 weeks out of the year or more. The longest we've ever done is we did 75 cities in 95 days. We did a product launch tour for a client, So, where we did 75 cities in 95 days in
95
2017. Yeah. Well, the actual tour was 75 cities in like 70 days, but we were already on the road when we joined the when we started up the tour. We had already been out hosting trips. So yeah, so I am still technically traveling less than I normally would, but
But a whole lot more than anybody else is right now in the
but a
world.
whole lot more than anyone else. Yeah.
Okay, so the two of
Yeah.
you have recently teamed up. Well, and by recent, probably, you know, I don't know what recent is, it's all relative, to start something pretty new and exciting. No, I just got an email from you guys this morning. It's a pretty exciting week for you guys this week. So the two of you duke it out. Tell us about which one is, you know, which one of you wants to talk about this and go back and forth and tell us all this exciting stuff you guys have been working on.
Team up is a really, really good word. And it has been 6 months about. But Ginny and I met and we were fast friends. And I love her style and I love how she shows up in the world. I was at that time doing a lot of virtual summits and she was doing full-time travel. And she's like, hey, I don't know much about summits. And I'm like, hey, I have a big fear of actually planning big events like you do. So let's team up and figure out how we can work together. And so with her background in being able to pull off major events and major launches like that, and with my background in being able to put, like, I would put 36 speakers in 3 days, back to back, every hour on the hour on summits, and be able to do like marathon style. So we teamed up and started figuring out how to not only do this for ourselves, but also show other people how they could have really epic events, whether they're virtual or live, and be able to have a lot of stage time for themselves, for their colleagues, for their joint venture partners, and be able to bring a lot of value to a big audience very, very quickly.
And Ginny, okay, so give your take on that.
Ginny.
Yeah, so what's been really fun is that Kimberly and I like complement each other in a lot of great ways. But you know, I had been doing, so when I met Kimberly, or when we started working together, what I did do was I was doing all these like virtual cocktail hours, right? Like I created this thing called Quarantine Cocktail Hour, and I was doing all these virtual cocktail hours. But I really wanted to be able to serve the clients like that I have kind of in a better way, right? Because yes, cocktail hours were fun for them, right? But we're talking about, you know, clientele that normally is meeting in person and doing live events, right? And so it was like, well, how do we create a bigger pivot, you know, for them, right? How do we help them to be able to still generate leads? Because, you know, doing live events, you know, it solidifies you as an authority in your field. It generates leads, right? It's a great way to get yourself out, yourself and your product out there. But it was like, well, I didn't know the first thing about doing that really in a virtual way. And so I teamed up with Kimberly and she was like, yeah, it's super easy to do summits. And I was like, what, it is? And actually turns out if you work with Kimberly, it is easy. So, we've teamed up and we've created a couple different courses for people and a couple different products for entrepreneurs who want to do virtual summits for lead generation and authority placement in their field. So we're just churning and burning over here. We just got through with our very first course, and we have 2 awesome summits from 2 of our clients that are going on this week. One of them is today, literally right after this show. Yep. We have the Solopreneur Accelerator Summit, hosted by Steve Erickson from Midlife Solopreneur. And then starting on the 2nd, we have the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom Parents Edition Summit, hosted by Dr. L. And so those are 2 of our clients that literally came to us less than a month ago and had, I mean, I think Steve had like a framework, but no speakers. And then Dr. L, I think we started from scratch literally 4 weeks ago and got their summits up and running in 4 weeks.
Yeah. And if you're looking for a venue in order to get credibility, authority, and be able to show up in a big way while you're virtual, because a lot of entrepreneurs relied on many things like networking events, many things like 3-day events, and ways to get in front of a large group of people live and in person. And that all shut down in March. I mean, I think I was at an event the weekend before COVID shutdown hit, right? And I was at a 3-day event, happened to be in LA, pretty close by. But because everything sort of shut down, a lot of people are like, oh, I guess I'm out of business for a couple of weeks until COVID's over. And then a couple of weeks turned into way more than a couple of weeks. And I think we're really at 6 months now. And most people are talking about having those live in-person events happen after the first of the year because of concerns about COVID. I know that our friends up in Canada are having struggles getting out of Canada. And if they can get out of Canada, probably not to the US. And if they can get, out of Canada, getting back into Canada is really the big challenge, right? You got to be 14 days quarantined. I know that Hawaii, I don't know if they're still doing it, but they were doing a 14-day quarantine, meaning your trip actually had to last for at least 15 days because 14 of them were going to be in your hotel room before you could leave and actually go outside. So there's a lot of rules and restrictions. You need to be compliant with those rules and restrictions. And we're not suggesting not to be compliant with those rules and restrictions, but you can't stop business because of it, right? A lot of our businesses can be switched to virtual and accommodate the new requirements, right? So being able to switch and pivot, I don't love that word because it's a little bit overused, but be able to pivot into a virtual experience for everybody is really, really powerful. And if you think of how many Zoom meetings we've all been on and been just this one and included, this is actually a virtual meeting that we're having right now. And we're able to get in front of a large audience, be able to continue talking about our businesses, be able to continue to build relationships and be able to get the word out about who we are and what we do in a virtual way. That means that we don't have to stop business. That means we don't have to stop earning. That means we don't have to worry about not being able to do any business and feed our family and take care of our responsibilities. So being able to launch this in a virtual world is huge. And there are some technicalities. There are some difficulties. There are some traps that you can fall into. And I think when I first started virtual about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I fell into quite a few of those traps, right? There are glitches everywhere you turn sometimes. So it's always good to have somebody who's been through it take you by the hand and walk you every step of the way through a successful event. It's just like when Gini had her clients come to her and say, okay, I'd love to have a big event at a large hotel, but I don't want to, sign contracts that trap me into thousands and thousands of dollars I didn't know I was going to spend, or what happens if people don't show up, or what happens if like the lighting doesn't work, or the camera guys don't show, or that, there's a lot of things that happen with a live event. Whether that's a live event is virtual or the live event is in person, there are a lot of moving parts. So you just need somebody who's been through it before, who's an expert, who knows what they're doing, who can help you avoid falling into some of those traps. And so I had a mentor and a guide and a coach when I went through my first one, fell into a few traps anyway, but avoided quite a few. And I think that, if you're thinking about doing a virtual event, don't get scared, launch forward, take steps to do that, but find somebody who's been through it. Find somebody who knows what they're doing and that can help you every step of the way avoid some of the traps. Not just avoid the traps, but make it even more successful than you dreamed. When we were working with the 2 events that we have now, one of the events didn't have very many speakers, and they were thinking maybe I'll just get about 10 speakers to a summit, blah, blah, blah. I think in the end, Gini, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's over 20 speakers, I think closer to 30 speakers on that summit right now. They're doing a gangbusters job. They have way more credibility, way more authority. They have way more reach because they've gotten all these speakers on. All the speakers are advertising for them. So they have a much bigger event than they thought they were going to have in the beginning. They have a larger reach to be able to now talk about their own offer. They have a larger opportunity to offer joint venture partnerships and stages for their joint venture partners. They have a bigger event overall, and it's just a huge success. And it's just a matter of teaming up with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I think so. They do have almost I think they have 29 speakers, but when they came to us, they only had 10. But we actually, in the end, we got them 46 additional speakers. So the speaker list at the end, we actually had to cull the list and figure out who was perfect. Like, how fun is that, right? To be like, okay, I only had 10 speakers. Now I have 56, but I only have room for 29, right? Like I have to remove some people, or figure out what's more perfect, right? Who's a better fit? I mean, that's a great place to be in, as opposed to feeling like that you need to, add people that maybe aren't the best fit for your audience, and things like that. The other thing that I love about virtual summits and that I think is really fun and different, and so different than live events, because you guys keep in mind, I've been doing live events for almost 20 years, right? I did my first live event in 2003. So almost 20 years. I've been doing live events and conferences and retreats and things. But even still, a lot of times those are still somewhat limited because of the location. The thing I love about virtual is we have speakers from around the world. So the Solopreneur Accelerator Summit, which starts today, that we helped Steve Erickson with, he's in Norway. We're in the US. We have speakers on his summit from everywhere. We have speakers from all over Europe, but we also have a ton of speakers from the US. We've had speakers from India, from just completely like Taiwan, Taipei, like across the globe. Like we have speakers from all over on these summits. And so then that also garners an international audience, right? They're promoting their people. So how cool is it that, it's a happy accident with COVID for a lot of these people, but that now you're actually really reaching people on a global level and building your list on a global level. That is remarkable to me.
It is, absolutely. And I'll tell you, you're preaching to the choir here, right? With, Tina and I totally shifted over, and thank goodness it's been virtual events and virtual summits that have kept our business, and we were able to make that shift. This show, Kimberly, when you're talking about, we thought it would just be temporary. We thought we would just do this for a couple of weeks. And here we are, well over 100 episodes deep.
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah, that's huge, Angel.
And it has been. I do need to take a quick little commercial break, ladies, so we can reset and regroup. This is also one of the incredible things that came out of this, was we ended up, the show is now globally syndicated. The show is now being sponsored. It is just pretty incredible. But the Angel and Tina Morning Show, of course, brought to you by our fabulous guests who come in and want to be the bright start to your day. We're so grateful to both Kimberly and Gini for being here today and talking about if you haven't participated in an online summit or hosted an online summit or been an audience or a guest in an online summit, you've probably been under a rock, because I think that's the entire way the world has been shifted over the last couple of months. So super excited to have you both here talking about that and just kind of peeling back the veil to the world of online summits. But we're also brought to you by 3 sponsors: Bliss by the Lake Boutique, our clothing sponsor. Check them out on Facebook, where they do trunk shows and fashion shows every single week. That's Bliss by the Lake Boutique. And also by the Zandra TV Network. They are the premier award-winning global streaming network where small business entrepreneurs can tell their story on local, national, and global television. You can schedule a discovery call by visiting their website, beonztv.com. That's beonztv.com, beonztv.com, and start your affordable global marketing experience today. And then if you're feeling just a little overwhelmed, there's too much on your plate, well, how about this? Don't do it. Hire a virtual assistant with Sonic VA so you can focus on what you do best and hire out for all the rest. Go to sonicva.com and hire your own virtual assistant, 3, 4, 5, 17, whatever it takes. And when you mention the Angel and Tina Morning Show, you get a 10% discount on the first 40 hours of virtual assistant service. That's sonicva.com. Those are our sponsors, and these are our fabulous guests. Kimberly, how do people get in touch with you or find out about all the fabulous stuff that you've got going on?
Perfect. So actually, I have a Facebook group that's called Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel. You can email me at Kimberly@entrepreneursrocketfuel.com. I love the concept of my passion is supporting entrepreneurs to get seen and heard in a bigger way. Angel, you know this. If I believe strongly that if you are not being seen, you are being overlooked. If you're not being heard, your message isn't getting out there. And if you're not clear on your message, then it's not going to have the impact you want it to have in the world. And you're not going to be able to have the contribution you were meant to make before you leave this earth. So definitely get out there, get seen and get heard. And whether that's virtually or in person, we got to do it. And we can't just be the world's best kept secret, because then the people who need your service and product are not going to be able to get it unless they can get a hold of you some way.
You know, Kimberly, I tell people about you. You probably come up 2-3 times a week when people are talking about how do I and where do I, and I'm like, do you know Kimberly? No. Okay, that's your next step. Yeah, I probably, and now Ginny, I didn't know the two of you had buddied up so well. I thought it was like a one-time thing. You guys had just done like a couple of projects together. So this is exciting to see the collaboration that is happening. We have so much like inside. I was chatting with somebody not too long ago, like the power of association that is happening here. We've got like all these different resources of powerhouse businesses, of entrepreneurs. I mean, if you want exposure, if you want summits, if you want printing, if you want distribution, if you like, we have this incredible powerhouse of a network that is just really off the charts. And I do think that it becomes so much more obvious because of the pandemic, right? Because now we're seeing who were those leaders that rose up to the top and really put themselves forward facing and in front of the marketplace. And so Kimberly, I love that. Ginny, how do we get in touch with you?
Well, so I would love to invite everybody to our Summit Creation Day. So I'm going to give you guys that way to get in touch with me. You can also find me at Beach Boss Life on Instagram, but I prefer for you guys to get something out of this. I prefer for you guys to get something for free. So I really think that virtual summits are where it's at in terms of lead generation these days. It's the best tool that I've seen during this COVID time for lead generation. And so I would love to invite everybody to try out, at least get yourself this far down the road of creating a virtual summit. Kimberly and I are having a virtual summit creation day on Friday, the 4th. And you guys can go to bit.ly/create my summit. So that's bit.ly/create my summit is SUMMIT. So bit.ly/create my summit. I would love for you guys to join us on the creation day. Also, if you go to that link, you're going to get a bunch of bonuses that could be helpful anyway. You're going to get some swipe copy. You're going to get some for a summit. You're going to get a speaker form that you can utilize for, collecting speakers for your summit. So a bunch of things like that. But I really do believe that, the only way forward is to pick a date, put it on the calendar, and start working towards that goal, right? Things that get put on the calendar get done. Things that don't get put on the calendar, those are the things that we always say, oh yeah, I was going to do that. Oh, I should do that. Oh, I wish I would have done that. So don't be one of those people that wish that you would have. Go ahead and do it. And so in our virtual summit creation day, Kimberly and I are going to focus on taking you through like the first steps, choosing how to choose speakers, how to talk to speakers, how to get speakers, creating a title, like what's in a title, right? How do you craft your title to make sure that people are attracted to your summit in the right way, that you're attracting the right customers, that you're attracting the right leads, right? And we're going to pick some dates and put some dates on the calendar for people. And so we will actually get you pretty far. It's a 3-hour course. It's completely free. And we would love to have you guys join us on that day. And so again, this is on the 4th from 9 a.m. Pacific. We would just love to have you guys join us and push the ball forward on doing this, because we've seen people add thousands of leads to, into their funnel based on, I would say maybe putting together the summit with Kimberly's guidance maybe took me, I don't know, 20 hours worth of work, maybe 40, depending on, what you need. But in terms of what I got back for that, you know what I mean, was incredible in terms of leads. And not only that, but my list is very active now. So the list that I built off of the summit that Kimberly and I put together is very active. So just to give you guys an example, I promoted the Solopreneur Summit, starts right after this, to that list. And I was kind of trailing behind on I hadn't really done anything, hadn't really promoted. And I sent out one email to that list. And because it was such a great fit for my people, I skyrocketed to the top of the leaderboard on the summit.
Look at you.
Right?
I know it's always fun when you see your name show up at the top of the leaderboard on these summits that you guys are putting together. Okay, well, I just clicked it in and registered or added my stuff into that summit. Course creator. I know we just did the course creator site stack. Kimberly,
Yeah.
I sent it out, and I can't tell you how many of the people actually came back to me. They're like, how do I get my course in that? That was their biggest question. Like, yeah, this is really cool, but like, again,
How do I?
go meet Kimberly. And I had a gal who she wants to become a paid speaker.
Yeah.
And I said, well, first of all, you need to build up your list. Like, who's your platform? Like, there's all these kind of criteria, but one of them was the size of her list. And I've told people, if they want to build their list, this is where the benefit of doing these virtual summits, these collaborative virtual summits, come into play. So, okay.
That's what
all right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We're coming up kind of in the last 15 minutes of the show. I want to make sure that anything you guys wanted to share or talk about that we get out before we have to let you go, exciting projects, what they're signing up for, just whatever is still on your mind that we don't leave with you like holding back on us. So Gini, what else do you want to make sure that we talk about today?
I guess I will to give a quick plug for our 2 upcoming summits this week that we helped put together for our clients. The Solopreneur Accelerator Summit starts today, and what I'm so excited about with that summit is just that it really is targeted to helping solopreneurs move to the next level. So Tina, you're going to speak on the summit. Kimberly speaking, I'm speaking. I'm talking about the 4 pillars of business, basically like the foundational things that you need to have as a business to really propel forward. Just to tell you guys a little bit about myself, which I never did in the beginning. I have owned and operated multiple multi-million-dollar companies. I've also been hired as a hired gun to start up and run companies and take them into the multi-millions on multiple occasions. I've worked in the travel, retail, transportation, and restaurant space, and driven businesses to 7 figures in all of those industries. So when I talk about 4 foundational pillars, I feel like I have a fairly good grasp on what I'm talking about there. But the summit is packed with people like that. So you're going to learn a lot of foundational things. And I really am excited for the summit because solopreneurs need this. They need tools and tips and resources. So I know that Tina has a link for that summit.
Yep, I just put it
and
in
then
there.
Our next one is Health, Wealth, and Wisdom. Perfect. So she just put it in there. So the next one is the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom Parents Edition Summit with Dr. L. And I think such a beautiful person. He's such an amazing human being. He just wants to help families to actually create a vision for their life and be able to execute on that vision, right? He's got some amazing speakers. Kimberly, how many speakers does he have lined up?
I think it's 28 speakers lined up. You're right. He does have an amazing lineup of speakers. In fact, he had so many people come in that he did one of the things that is sort of out of the box, where not only is he interviewing a full lineup of speakers over 2 days, he wanted to keep it at 2 days, but he decided to add a second track. So have you ever, Tina or Angel, have you ever gone to like a convention where you have to choose between 2 rooms of 2 speakers to listen to, right?
Yeah.
Same principle with this, right? So he's got 2 tracks going at the same time. So you can listen to person A talking on subject X, or you can go to
That's the biggest decision when you're going to an event like this. You're like, oh man, I want to hear both. That's why you gotta use the buddy system, right? When you go to any kind of event, you go here, I'll go here, and we'll swap notes.
Exactly. But the cool thing about a virtual event like this is that all of the speakers are recorded. So if you did run into that challenge where you're like, all right, I got to see this one, but I also want to see that one, those recordings will be available within 72 hours of the event. So you're able to actually watch the one that you choose. And then if you're like, oh man, I really want to watch the other one, you can grab that as well for a VIP ticket. And the VIP ticket is like a screaming deal at like $47 or something like that. And you get all of the recordings of all of the speakers. Plus you get some additional bonuses and things like that. So I absolutely, that one is focused on health, wealth, and wisdom. And it's for parents. Now, a lot of parents are struggling right now trying to run a business or do their business if they're at home. Maybe they work for a major corporation and they're at home and they've got their kids running around, like, oh my gosh, and now I'm going to have to homeschool starting in September. Like, what's up with that, right? So this entire summit is based for parents. Like, how are we going to manage our health, our wealth, and our wisdom during this time? And what are some good tools and techniques for that? So there'll be information on becoming an entrepreneur and growing your business or working from home, and that wealth aspect. But there's also going to be some really good wisdom aspects. There's one actually that Gini is going to be the interviewer on, which is all about sizzling sex for couples, and it's going to be fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's going to be fantastic.
I'm not the speaker, but I get to interview the person. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. That one I can't tune in for because I'm actually on another summit because that's what we do now all day, every day. So
I've got a really cute couple if you ever need for marriage, dating, relationships, and stuff.
They're amazing.
Eric and Sakisha?
Yes.
They're speaking on the summit.
Oh, good.
You referred them to us and we put them on the summit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, they are fantastic. They are fantastic.
Perfect.
This is what I'm saying. Like, we all know, and we've got this great collaboration of.
Well, it used to be 7 degrees of separation, and now I think it's like 2.
Yeah. Seriously.
All you gotta do is who do you know? And they're like, here.
Yep.
Seriously. So I just popped the link for health, wealth, and wisdom in the chat, so you guys can share that out.
I put it into the chat on Facebook because nobody can see the chat here.
Yeah.
So I put it into the chat because a couple people were asking for it.
Perfect. So.
And if you're interested in being a speaker, if you're interested in like getting the word out about who you are and what you do, I would love to invite your audience, because some of them are like, hey, you know what? I'm interested in doing a summit, but a summit might be a little bit much for me. First, I got to get out on stages and see what that's like. And we do recommend that. But if you guys have already been on podcasts, radio shows, if you've been interviewed by anybody, you're ready to do a summit. But if you still feel like you need a few extra, some extra time, either in learning about how to get on stages, how to be a great speaker, getting booked on stages, or hosting your own stage, you can go to the link that I just shared. Is it all right if I share that for the people?
Yeah.
So it's www.entrepreneursrocketfuel.com/get on stage. If you're ready to get on stage, I invite you to go to entrepreneursrocketfuel.com, /get on stage, and check out the link there. It'll give you an opportunity to register as a speaker, whether you are wanting to learn a little bit more, whether you are ready to get mic'd up, or whether you're ready to host your own summit. Would love to get you guys to fill out that form, and we will get you out as a speaker to some of our venues, because there's a lot of opportunity to speak right now, and we're booking summits like no tomorrow right now.
I love it. Well, and you guys know that we've got that Need a Guest Facebook group. If you guys are ever looking for guests and you've got an event and you're looking to fill for guests, Need a Guest is a great media matchmaker site that we've created.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
you've done that.
We've gotten some great speakers off of that, Angel. So I've been posting our summits on there, and it's been great. We've gotten some great speakers from Need a Guest. So thank you for that.
You are so welcome. Yeah, I'm told that it's kind of a nice little hub spot for speakers. It's, if you're looking for guests and you want to get booked. So we say find guests and get booked. But yeah, this is a great interview forum as well, Kimberly. And we've got a lot of people that have all this opportunity. And I think it's not just for the people who are looking to get on stages, right? Not just for those, but for all the people who were attending all of those events. They were planning to go, they were planning to network, they were planning to learn. And, get out of their, own home or routine. And so this is a great way for them. There's so much access. And like you said, because so many are recorded, you don't have to pick and choose. You don't have to get a babysitter. You don't have to go home and walk the dog.
The travel,
You can,
all that travel stuff, and you can
right?
take that money
You
and
can be
invest it in yourself.
in Netherlands, you can be in Portland, and then San Francisco. You don't have to just pick one event to attend
Right.
at a time.
And
Right?
think
You
of
go
all
this
the
one in the
different
morning, that one in the
people you can do it
afternoon, and this one in the evening. You can do it all just by hopping around from event to event. So I think there's just so much opportunity right now. Love that you two just have like grabbed the reins and have just gone full speed ahead, and love that you guys are here starting out, kicking off our week here on the morning show with us. So do I need to fill this out, or do you already have my information?
Oh, we've got you, and we're calling you for events. You're getting booked right, left, and sideways, Angel. And Tina, also for you, we've got all kinds of things to have you show up in a bigger way in the world. I mean, you already do, both of you do, and you've already taken on the world of virtual in such a big way. But maybe some of your guests are ready to take that step and get seen and heard. If you tell yourself, like all of my business comes by referral, think in terms of that's great. That's wonderful. I'm glad that you have tons of business. That's fantastic. However, you're not making an impact outside your own sphere of influence. If you can get on a virtual stage and get seen and heard by literally people in the Netherlands, in Egypt, in Norway, in Sweden, and all over, like we have tons of what they call Kiwis in New Zealand, in Australia. We have people that are joining our summits from literally all over the globe and having an opportunity to impact their lives with your message, rather than just, oh, well, my friend referred me to their friend. It really, like, you're here for a purpose. You're here to give your zone of genius, to work in your zone of genius and leverage that out to the world. And virtual is a fantastic way to go. Tina was pointing out, you now are saving so much time and so much money by not having to travel to events and not having to pay for the airfare and pay for the hotels and make choices between two major events in different locations. Now you can just hop on one on virtual at 1 o'clock and hop on a different one virtual at 2 o'clock, right? And have that opportunity to be able to be in multiple places and get your message out in multiple ways.
Okay, so there have been so many resources thrown into you during this episode of the morning show. So rewind, go back, grab all the links.
I'll start trying to put some links in there. So there's a link in there for the summit, for the Solopreneur Summit for today. I put my link in there. We have the Create My Summit link in there, and Kimberly's link if you are interested in getting on stages or need more exposure to get on stages, right?
Right. But we definitely want to grab Gini's link, because I actually tried that and it didn't seem to work on my end. So I must have typed it wrong because I didn't get it fast enough. So what is the one for Friday's episode or Friday's show? Now, Friday, Gini and I are going to be live answering your questions all about how to be able to put on your own virtual summit. If you have questions, if you've been thinking about maybe I might want to step into this world. It's capitals. That was the difference there. So I did not type it with the capitals. So Create My Summit is capital C, capital M, capital Y. So it's bit.ly and then Create My Summit with initial caps on C, M, and S. And then you'll get to the virtual event. That is a fantastic opportunity for you to come in and just pick our brains and say, hey, Gini, Kimberly, I'm thinking about doing a summit on creativity. I'm thinking about doing a summit on life mastery. I'm thinking about doing a summit on relationships. How do I find speakers? How do which venue should I use? What's the technology behind it? Is it just a Zoom room like we're all using, or is it something else? How do I get the word out? How do I establish credibility? How do I have speakers know who I am? How do I find those speakers? And then how do I make sure those speakers are actually advertising? How do I, promote the summit? What do I do in order to grow my list? How do I sell my own stuff afterwards? How do I sell my own stuff during? There's a lot of questions out there, and we didn't have time to get to all the the answers here on your show today, but thanks for giving us this part of the venue. If you want to know the answers to all those questions, please, please, please come join us on Friday the 4th. We're going to be doing a half day answering all of those questions for you and showing you exactly how you can create your own summit and make a real impact in this world, growing your authority, growing your credibility, growing your list, growing your revenue, growing your opportunity to make the impact that you're designed to make in this world before you go.
Oh, I love it.
This has been so much fun. This has been so much fun. Also, needaguest.com. That's our Facebook group, our media matchmaker. You can go to needaguest.com. That'll take you right to the Need a Guest Facebook group. Well, ladies, this has been so much fun having you guys share your morning with us. I'm Angel Tussey. I am your media matchmaker. If you want to find guests, get booked. If you've got news, alert the press. We've got all sorts of great resources for you, and you can get started with your complimentary media starter kit at my website, makeyourbigimpact.com, makeyourbigimpact.com. We've got great resources. You'll get press release ideas. You'll get media contacts. In fact, I think I might even put your Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel Get on Stage job form in there as well to give people that resource. If that's okay, if I send that.
Absolutely, I'd love that.
Right? Lots of fun stuff. Really, if you're looking to grow your business, if you're looking to expand, if you're looking to be in front of the wave instead of sitting back wondering, waiting, and worrying, come and hang out with us. Every resource is pretty much built in. Share this show with somebody you know who's looking to put together events, summits, just has some questions about it.
Tag them in the comments.
Lots of resources plugged into this group in this show today. So makeyourbigimpact.com. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning. Tina?
What a fabulous Monday that we were able to start out with, right? I am Tina Torres, your client retention expert, also known as the gratitude specialist. And if you are struggling with building your audience, finding the right clients, or even retaining those clients that you already have, I have a complimentary guide that will help you grow your audience organically online, connect and nurture those relationships authentically, and then take those relationships and turn them into paying clients. And you can grab your guide if you text the word connection to 26786. That is the word connection to 26786. We are so excited that you guys joined us today, Monday morning. Today is the last day of August. We are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show, and we are so grateful that you are our audience, being our loyal fans, and we hope we brought a bright start to your day. You guys have a great day. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.